The Sugar Bowl this year, you were asked, do you think the 12-team playoff is going to fix college football? I thought you gave a great answer. You talked about, well, first you've got to tell me what's broken before we can talk about what's fixing it. Now, in your answer, you mentioned some of the challenges in our sport, transfer portal being one of them, NIL being one of them, opt-outs being another. If you were to start to address some of the issues in college football, where would you start?
Well, I think you have to create a balance between how much do you take and how much do you give.
Okay.
We're giving people scholarships. We're creating name, image, and likeness opportunities. But what is their commitment? I mean, there's no place in the world where you don't have a contract. If you're going to receive benefits, you have a contract and an obligation to do a certain job. So when you can opt out, transfer, do whatever you want, whenever you want, I'm not sure the balance is quite right.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of people out there that are much more qualified than me that are trying to figure out how do we fix this. But I think we do need to create some balance, because I think at the end of the day, when you create an atmosphere where somebody's tentatively committed to what they're trying to accomplish, you have to evaluate, is that really a good thing?
Sure.
Because we all need to be totally committed to whatever, our goals and aspirations are, the sense of purpose that we have, if we're going to have a chance to be successful.
Along those lines, do you think it would help if the players were organized so that they could be collectively bargained with, so that some of those contractual obligations could take place?
I think that it never scares me that people are organized.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some good in that. I think, General Motors and the automotive industries had unions for a long time, and they survived fairly well, I think. So, but there's a lot of people who are a little skeptical,
right?
And I can understand why, that you make college student athletes employees. And I think when you organize them, that's maybe what the ultimate result, may be. So, and I can't honestly say that I'm qualified to know exactly what the cause and effect of that would really be.
Right. The adjustments in this sport are ongoing, and they have been, throughout time. There's an old expression, there's nothing new under the sun. And throughout time, coaches have had to adjust, whether it's on the field or off the field, how they're operating in order to be successful. I would make the argument, no one's done that better than you. If you look at the history of our sport, Coach, very rarely do we see coaches win over cycles of recruits or cycles of style of football on the field. You have done that, both at LSU, now at Alabama. I'm curious, what are you adjusting to and evolving with currently, whether it's on the field or off the field?
Well, I think you're in a constant, you have to be flexible, number one. And I think if you're flexible, then you have a willingness to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
And I think your willingness to adapt is really, really important, because things are changing. Just in the last 15 years, we never had RPOs before. We never had advantage throws. We never had fastball offenses like we have now. So, and all those things create advantages, but they also create adaptations that are necessary for the other side of the ball. And so that's just on the field. Off the field, you've already talked about all the things we've had to adapt to, whether it's transfer portal, whether it's name, image, and likeness, whether it's expanded playoffs, whether it's, bowl games not being as significant as they were before and guys opting out of playing in them. So there's a lot of changes that are ongoing
Mm-hmm.
that you have to adapt to. And I think that rather than complain about it, which a lot of people sit around and complain, complaining is actually a distraction to the solution. And I think that you got to spend most of your time trying to figure out, what is the solution? How can we adapt? And most of the time it comes down to, if we can do a better job from a relationship standpoint and build a program that creates more value for the players, then they're going to be happier here. They're going to want to stay here. They're going to buy into the fact that long term, I can create more value for myself by staying here in the program. And that's the way we've tried to look at all these challenges to try to, improve the quality of the program that we have.